Welcome back to UMass Sports Weekly. I'm here with Liam Byrne and John Andersen, and we're going to be debating what a sport is. And we got two sides here, and they're ready to go. But first, we're going to give you the update from Baton Rouge. Our Minutemen, yep, we said Minutemen after that last discussion about the mascot. They're down 24-27 against the Tigers. But Max Yetcho's showing a little great game there. He's got 7 points so far. So we'll keep you updated on that game as we go through the show. So now we're back. We're going to talk about what a sport is. And we got two guys here ready to go, as I just said. So the first question, I'm going to throw it Liam's way. What's your definition of a sport? Go ahead.
My definition of a sport, it's got to be physical activity, obviously. You have to have a set of rules, and it's got to be competition between either a team or individual. There's a lot of definitions of sports, but those are my three really bases of what a sport really is. And, there are a lot of different clarifications of what is and what is not. So we're going to get into that a little more. And hopefully John can give a better definition than me, but I don't think he can. So,
whoa, at first he said,
I'll actually just take the point right now.
Oh, will you?
It was basically, do you want to wrap it before?
No.
Do you want a little bow tie
How about
before
you
you hand it? All right, well, I've actually divided
He's ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I've actually divided it
now.
into two separate categories. We have, on one side, you got your sport. On the other side, you got your activity/exertion. Now, Liam said the word competition in his definition of sport. That's completely incorrect because a competition doesn't have to be a sport. So, in order for something to be a sport, there's 5 simple, what do you call them? Criteria to be a sport.
Criteria.
1, physical activity. That's obvious. That's actually on both sides of the exertion side as well. 2, there has to be a level of dependence, such as teammates. You gotta be a team sport, or in the case of a sport like boxing, you got a coach. We've all seen the fighter. You can't tell me that Mickey Ward wins without Dickie Eklund there. Number 3, there's an apparent level of intensity. That is why golf is not a sport. Number 4, there's a definitive goal. There's some, like, touchdown. You're definitely going for the end zone. You got to make your shot. And number 5, the best team or the best player wins. Now, on the other side, you got your activity/exertion. We got the physical activity. That's on both sides. There's no debate about that. Then we've got selective dependence. It's not complete dependence on a team. You can win, such as golf again. You can win on your own. We've seen Tiger Woods do it. He may have been sleeping with several women, but he did it mostly on his own.
It's a little personal, don't you think? I mean, come on.
3. Is it your turn?
Oh, all right. Keep going.
Okay.
All right.
Number 3.
The table's open. The table's
for
open.
activity or exertion, it's a low level of intensity. Sometimes no intensity. Golf. Number 4. Ambiguous goal. We don't know what the goal is, as the cameraman gives me an obscene gesture. Number 5. Decided subjectively, such as a judge. This table right here, this is an activity, not a sport, because we have our judge, Mr. Corso here, deciding who wins and who loses.
Liam, any counter? I'm going to give you one chance to counter. He had a lot of time there, so I'm going to give you a little bit of time.
Yeah, that was a long time. A little too long for only his third segment here.
Oh, I'm sorry you had 2 words written down. I'd also like to say that I do want to say that there is one issue with my definition. By my definition,
a lot of issues, yeah.
NASCAR is a sport.
NASCAR
is not a sport. Do not worry.
No.
I've yet to calculate that into the equation.
Why would you try and even say that NASCAR is a sport?
No, I did not say it's a sport.
All right,
I said
I'm going to cut it
sport.
short there because we're going to talk about these things when we get to the further questions.
All right.
Yeah.
Liam, I'm sorry. John came out with a little more explosiveness, I'll say, than you did. So I'm going to give 1 point there.
A little backhand.
It was a little bit. Yeah. But for number 2.
My throwing arms hurting a little.
And number two, in your opinion, what are sports and what aren't? You got into it a little bit, which I tried to avoid, but that's fine. We let you go.
Sorry, I'm perfect.
So I'm going to have to throw it. You know what? I'm going to throw it towards Liam first because
you.
he needs some time to speak.
I do.
Tell me what are sports and what aren't. He went against golf and NASCAR. I'm getting golf clubs for Christmas, so I'm a little off of that.
That doesn't mean it's not.
That's what I think Santa
Doesn't mean you
Claus
can't be
is
happy
giving
with
me.
it.
Go ahead, Liam. Tell me.
All right, well, obviously you got your basic sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, football, all those types of sports. But then when we're talking about golf and NASCAR and IndyCar and archery and poker, what? Like, come on. What NASCAR, you get in a car, you drive left in the circle for about 4 hours, and there are a bunch of people in the stands getting drunk and falling off their chairs because they're getting dizzy. They're getting dizzy. And, to watch that, yeah, maybe it's entertaining and all, but Nothing's physical about that. You're in a car. You know, you're moving your arms, you're pushing your feet, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it's just not a sport. That's all I got to really say about that. And another sport that is not a sport, that I just contradicted myself. An activity that is not a sport is bass fishing. You see it on ESPN. Bass fishing is just not a sport at all. So
They show that on Nesson a lot, actually.
Nesson, yeah. I don't know why they show that kind of stuff. And poker, too. I mean, yeah, the guy wins $1 million, but is he jumping up and down to win $1 million? You know, there's a set of rules, like I said earlier. But, you know, he's out, the poker guy's out there winning money. So he's not running a lap or anything like that. So basically, your main sports that aren't sports, that people call sports, bass fishing, NASCAR, IndyCar, archery, and poker. And the ones I named earlier, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, lacrosse, and so on, those are sports, Chris.
So what I took from that is that we might actually have some agreement here, and that's on golf and NASCAR not being sports.
Oh, no, golf is a sport.
Oh, golf is a sport.
To me, yes, golf is a
golf
sport.
is a sport.
Yes.
Golf is a sport. We have the agreement about NASCAR, but how can you counter on this? What's a sport and what's not a sport in your opinion?
Sports. We got football, hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, field hockey. I'm counting with fingers here, but obviously there's a lot of these sports. I'm not going to go through each and every one. Field hockey, that's for Tommy. Boxing, tennis, wrestling, ultimate frisbee. Those are your really main sports. I know there's a million sports in the world. We can't go through all of them.
Ultimate frisbee is like a frat sport. That's not like a main sport.
You
What are
look like
talking
you're in a
about?
frat. Activity
Got me,
slash
sir. You got me.
It's heating up over here.
These are now,
It is rather
the
hot.
following. The following list are not sports by my definition. They are activities or exertions: cheerleading, track and running, skiing, table tennis, swimming and diving, surfing, rock climbing, poker chess, two separate things, not poker chess, hunting, competitive eating, golf, and anything at the Winter Olympics besides hockey.
Cheerleading is a sport.
Cheerleading is not a sport.
Cheerleading is a sport.
Cheerleading is absolutely not a sport.
Yes, it is. Those girls and guys go out. They train to be in competitions. Sometimes on television, you see them jumping around and doing what they got to do. There's positions. There are positions in
Have you ever seen
cheerleading.
Bring It On?
Yeah, there's positions, but it is decided subjectively by a judge in a competition.
Yeah. So what? So are many other sports.
Yeah, and so they go out.
Referees. Those are referees.
They bust their fannies out there, trying to train. You know who else? Eats trains a lot. Competitive eating.
Yeah,
That doesn't
they
make
do.
a sport. That does not make a sport.
That is a sport, I think.
Competitive eating is not. He just lost all credibility.
No, I really didn't.
There was this much credibility, and then there was that much.
I'm cutting it
That's
off.
negative credibility.
I'm cutting it off. This question goes to Liam. We got
That's
a
just
one.
because you want to go to round 3.
No,
No.
we got a 1-1 tie. He got me. But the only thing is, we got golf and we got no golf being a sport. Now, we already talked about the classification
let's talk
for
about
question
that.
3. So we're going to go to golf. That's what I want to hear
Yeah.
about. You went into it a little bit before. I'll let you start, John. I know you're raring to go.
Well, you see,
Why is golf not a sport? Prove me wrong.
Well, because golf, I suppose there's a level of physical activity, but there's absolutely no dependence. It's you and it's no one else. It's only you out
You don't
there.
have to have dependence in the sport.
And by my definition, you
Well,
do.
your definition.
By
but-
my definition. And you lost your
Are you
credibility.
Merriam-Webster? Are you Merriam-Webster? Have you written the dictionary?
He's got a
Are you
point there.
done?
He's got a
Are you
point
done
there.
with
Go
your
ahead.
hissy fit?
Okay,
Are
go
you
ahead.
done with your... Okay.
No, go ahead.
Now, he made me lose my thought.
Good.
Anyways.
That's what I'm here to do.
Golf. It's just you out there. There's no... But you see, you lost all credibility when you said that whatever wasn't a sport or was a sport.
Yeah, whatever. Is that a sport? You said whatever was a sport?
You made me lose my thought.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Liam. He's a good debater.
Thank you.
He's
Yeah,
a good
Liam.
debater. That doesn't give him a point, though. Doesn't mean he won.
Give me, tell me about golf and why you think it is a sport. Go ahead.
Well, he says that golf is a dependent sport. Yeah, you play by yourself, but you can also play with others too, and you can play on a team. You can play on a team. You have to train for it, of course. You have to know how to hit a ball. You can be coached. There are a set of rules based on my definition here.
Oh, are you Merriam-Webster?
No, I already used that, so you can't do that. So, for me, golf is a sport because you are rated. Tiger Woods was once, #1 rated player in the world. And Rory McIlroy, he's one of the best golfers in the world right now. So these are athletes that are getting paid a lot of money winning these tournaments, traveling, and everything like that, being televised. And it just is a sport because it has the reputation.
Poker's televised.
Yeah, I already mentioned that. Golf is a sport because it has the reputation of a baseball, basketball, football. They're not as popular maybe as football, but the only time I watch golf is with my grandfather. And I just picked it up this summer, and I've found it a really intriguing sport. And I just think that it really is a sport, Chris.
One more chance, John. Go ahead. Finish it all for me.
Well, first off, I'd like to say that I came in prepared for cheerleading for number 3, but we'll just have to adapt. You see, there are basically two schools of thought, Liam. There's the classical school of thought and the modern school of thought.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm going with this.
Good. All right.
That was supposed to be for cheerleading.
Give me cheerleading. I'll give you the chance.
Give me cheerleading?
If you can be.
Okay, well then I can reuse that statement. There are basically two schools of thought, the modern and the classical. And in both the schools of thought, cheerleading is not a sport. You see, in the great Greek times, Plato came up with the allegory of the cave, where these humans would sit in a cave and there was a fire and they could see their reality was skewed.
What the hell are you talking about? I thought we were talking about sports.
You can't say that word.
Hell's in the Bible.
I was getting somewhere. That's not the Bible. That's Plato's writing.
No, I said hell is in the Bible. The word hell is in the Bible. It's also in the dictionary,
This
Merriam-Webster.
is a completely secular program, non-secular program.
It's not in our description. Go ahead, carry on with your cheerleading thing.
Go ahead, John. Win me over. This is your chance.
Win Chris over.
He's just busted.
Win me over. Now's the chance. Right now, he's got you by an inch.
Cheerleading is not a sport because in the actual competitions where you compete, it is decided by a judge. And the better team does not always win.
You keep going back to the judge thing. Yeah. Judges are referees, basically.
Well, they aren't referees, not
They're
judge.
basically referees.
Referees, not judge. So when the Seattle Seahawks blatantly dropped a ball in the end zone against the Packers 2 years ago, and the refs called it, you're telling me that? So basically, you're saying that football isn't a sport.
I'm not saying that
That's what
because
you're saying.
I'm saying that cheerleading is a sport. I said that earlier. I did say that.
You said cheerleading. No, but now you're saying referees are judges, and that's not the case.
But that doesn't bring together what football is. Football is definitely a sport.
I know football. You're saying it's not. You're saying
I
it's
didn't
not.
say that. Did those words come out of my mouth? Those words did not come out of my mouth.
All right, we're going to have to wrap it up here. John, I'm sorry. At the end there, you didn't convince me.
You choked.
Liam came out of nowhere with that one. John had it at the beginning. Liam comes out on top. I'm going to have to give this one to Liam. Great job, you guys. That might have been the best debate
Liam,
we
meet
had
me outside in 10 minutes.
I'll meet you in the parking lot.
That does not go on the set. We do not promote anything.
No, we said parking lot. You heard us.
We do not do John.
But that'll be it. That'll be it for What is a Sport? Thank you, guys. It was a great segment, and we'll be back to talk about the MLB.